Have been against it. Joining me now is Congressman Billy Cassidy, Republican from Louisiana, who is also a doctor. Congressman, good to have you with us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Ed.
Why are the Democrats wrong on this? What's the number one thing that jumps out at you why this should not pass?
If you don't control cost, you can't maintain quality and access. We've learned that in Massachusetts, where they attempted to expand access without controlling cost. Now they're disenrolling people in Massachusetts. We tried it in California, where now they're disenrolling people from SCHIP. And just this week, because they could not control cost, 38,000 people are being disenrolled in Arizona from SCHIP. That is not the way to approach it. You first lower cost, expand access, not the other way around. It can't be done.
Congressman, you're a doctor, and I understand that you've worked in public facilities, and there was a provision put into this health care bill recently in the reconciliation bill that calls for more money. Reimbursement rates are going to be better to rural hospital and medical facilities across the country. Wouldn't that help your state of Louisiana?
It would help my state of Louisiana if that was the only thing that was happening, but that is not the only thing that is happening. One of the provisions is to expand Medicaid to 133% of federal poverty level. Now, a couple things. There was an article this past week in the New York Times which showed that the payment from Medicaid in Michigan is so poor that a woman who had it couldn't get an oncologist to treat herself. She's got Medicaid and she can't see a physician because payments are so poor. In New Jersey, Medicaid payments are 37% of what Medicare pays. So the inadequacy of the payment effectively limits people's access to health care. That's the dirty little secret that no one wants to talk about.
But we were told earlier tonight by the congressional whip for the Democrats, Jim Clyburn, that that's been addressed and that the disparity amongst rates being paid out is going to be a lot better than it was before. And that would play better for Louisianians, wouldn't it?
So the way that plays, Ed, is that for the newly eligible, there will be increased payments for primary care physicians. But if these people actually practice medicine, they would know that the real problem is achieving specialty care. They're not taking care of payments rates for specialty care. So the woman who's trying to see an oncologist is not primary care.
Yeah.
She still does not have access. They are not addressing the totality of the problem. And if they practice medicine in a public hospital like me, they would know where the problem was.
Congressman, do you have any remorse whatsoever about the strategy the Republicans have played to obstruct all the way against President Obama's hopes that this would pass? And I want to ask you very pointedly, do you really believe that you're going to be on the right side of history when it comes to the pre-existing conditions, when it comes to the ban on annual lifetime limits and such stuff as that, and also helping younger people who can stay with their parents till the age of 26 when it comes to being on their policy? I mean, that's some pretty tough stuff to go against, isn't it, Congressman?
You know, Ed, I wrote an article in Politico. You can look it up probably on my website. I said the 10 things that we could agree on a bipartisan basis. Republicans and Democrats, end rescission, high-risk pools, address pre-existing condition issues, deal with chronic disease. Those are actually the things we all agree on. I might point out that the provision to allow kids to stay on their parents' policy till age 26 was originally a Republican idea. Those ideas we have in common. It is the overreaching aspect of it.
All right, and I want to give you just a final minute here. This is a historic moment, Congressman, and there's not one Republican that's going to vote for this. Do you think that this is going to play in good favor for the Republicans for years to come?
Right now, the United States has an existential crisis in terms of its debt. Medicare is scheduled to go bankrupt in 7 years. Medicaid is bankrupting states and the federal government. We're going to cannibalize those two to create a third program that's going to rescue the first two. I think history is going to find that our existential crisis has just been made worse tonight, and there's just no way to convince me otherwise.
Congressman Cass, yes, sir.
It's going to take 10 years of tax revenue to pay for the next 6 years of government programs. That's not a sustainable model.
Yes or no? Yes or no answer. Do you believe the CBO numbers? Do you believe the CBO score?
Oh, I absolutely believe that it takes 10 years of tax revenue to pay for 6 years of programs. And if you add the doc fix in, that's now a $54 billion deficit.
Okay.
That's what the CBO says. I believe that.
Congressman, good to have you with us. Maybe we'll see you on the Ed Show sometime. You know, I can't get Republicans to go to my show, but you can talk to me.
Give me a call, buddy.
Good to have you with us, David.
Thank you.
And Ed, we're looking at